start off saying that I bear witness, that you bear witness to the fact that W.D. Farad taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught Malcolm X, and he was the minister. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the minister, while his deep Farad is hit by his spirit, that they call Allah. Today we say is the avatar or the personage of Allah. That's not impossible. So we bear witness to everything that's been said. Everyone has their job to do. And me, as Eloheem, I'm here to continue the same mission, but in a greater overview. But we, the Eloheem, were never lost. We were never enslaved. And that which is will always be. And those who were not will never be. And those who continue to not abide by the instructions of that which was given to them, precisely to the letter, or to be right, righteous, us being right and exact with the information that was given to the information that's obtained and the information that's displayed. So as we continue, as we were waiting for the baton to be gracefully passed over, the continuation of uplifting humanity, as was taught by Noble Drew Ali, that was never cited in other people's mission, because publicly, as far as what was taught behind the doors and the scenes, that I cannot answer. But publicly and doing the research, finding out that Noble Drew Ali was one of the spearheads of uplifting humanity in the agreement, in battles, in courts, with the system of things, to earn the rights to embrace the flag of the United States, along with the flag Morocco, and tell the story of how the Lulu Amalu, or the primitive workers, or those who call humane or humans, the energy from that which was the host of the planet, which first colonized, called the Anunnaki, or now called the angelic realm, or Elohim. So as we continue to teach, one thing I just wanted you to know, that when you talk about Maulana Ali's translation at that particular time, and the explanations that's called tafsir was given, it didn't give us, those who were melanated, it didn't give you, those who were melanated, the opportunity to be who you were on the angelic realm. It gave you a low explanation of what was happening, because they were not from the tribe of Quraysh. They were not from the tribe of Muhammad. The word Muhammad itself tells you that the word Muhammad that was given to him was one worthy of praise, that put him on a deity status, deity of being a godhead or a guardian, or these are the nature like that. But the word Ahmed was his true name. His name was not Muhammad. So those who call themselves Muhammad in a slick way has taken divinity to themselves and replaced you with them, and have you to worship that which you are. You're worshiping yourself. So with the Quran, it breaks down. This here is L's Holy Quran. L represents the source. And as the source manifests itself from the gas matter into what we call embodiment, to the angelic realm, to those who were created out of the animalistic ways and evolving into what we see today. Those who lied, those who tricked, those who were not blessed with the melanation, which was the darkness, as we are still in darkness. Make this known that we are still in darkness. Make this known that because the sun shines, we are still in darkness. It's the sun that gives the light, that gives the growth to many things. It's the same sun or the soon that came out of man. The word man is not a gender. The word man is a word that was rooted in the word men. The word men means from. That's what they say. The word men also means that which is hidden. When you say Amin, Aman, Amen Ray, you're saying that which is hidden from the eyes of the people. Not that cannot be seen, that which was not recognized because recognition was not allowed for those who were raising themselves out of evolution in the animalistic ways of kill or be killed. The Eloheem was always here. As far as you being able to recognize them or speak to them or talk to them, that was not an option. And when it tells you that they left for 3,600 years and came back in 3,600 years, which was approximately 7,000 years, which equal to one day, but 7,000 years is equal to what we call 1 week. Now we call a strong. When they came back and they start to analyze what was going on in this 6,000 years of creation of what they call the new Adam, and prior to that, the children that was left, that they mixed their seed as they were the Gabori. So as we continue with this, we say peace, and we say peace, P-I-E-C-A, or P-I-E-C-E, which represent the puzzle, the many pieces that was put together for the cipher of the royal circle of those that was given mental telepathy and hit by the light and woke up and said, I am who I am, and that which lives me comes from a far distance that's not being taught. Those who recognize, and they was called bipolar, bisexual, and all kinds of double indemnities because of their recognition of the things that was not taught in the programming center that you now call schools or Department of Education. Education being edit conversation, education being edit conversation of those who planned and they wrote it out. Them writing it out made them the author. Those who wrote things out became the author. As they became the author, over time, they become the authority of what is written if someone did not make changes to what they have written. So those who were the authors in the many books that you see in your library or libraries, or bury the lies that they have told them as the distorted truth of their imagination, strange imaginations. So those of you who started off with the mission of WF W.D. Freud or W.F. Muhammad and his explanation, which was at that particular time the best information that one can give to help those get out of the situation that was in. Then from his teaching it to Minister Elijah Muhammad, who earned the ranks of being honorable, able, and honored, honorable, honor, and able to speak, to say as a savior. A savior is one who says, one who has the articulate ability to think. And he was taught what was happening to us and how we can unravel the situation and rise up. The word rise, R-I-S-E, is the same as S-I-R, or sir. Yes, sir. You're saying rise up out of the muck, the mire, the filth that was given to those who were slaves. So as we continue with that teachings, it went to another savior, which take us further, which they call Father Allah. The name Clarence is the word for clairvoyance. The word Clarence is a word for clairvoyance. As he proceeded, was a noble character, a warrior, a fighter, honorable also. He took it to the next level from his experiences, from his travels around the world, for him fighting and came back and claimed his destiny and taught it to his new nation, which is the gods and the earths. And we say thank you very much for your continuation of not waiting but taking. But as we continue from the roots, our great roots of Marcus Garvey, Mother Coffee, which many of you never heard of Mother Coffee, but she was in the NIA, NUA, or the movement of Marcus Garvey, helping them from Africa to here. And that was not written, but that will also, you can research it. Getting back to the Father, Allah, and the nation of the gods and the earths was very, very special, is very, very special, and will continue to be special because they were ahead of their time, light years ahead of their time. But they proved the fact that the children of the Eloheem, the angelic realm, those who are mixed in with the earthling, exist. For you are a child of the Eloheem. You are connected as an Eloheem. You are connected as an Elo. You are El, the source. That's why many of you have the name El Rahman, El Rahim, El Malik, which is the attributes of Allah. You have the characteristics of Allah. And now we are here to continue. The Eloheem has raised up the children of the Eloheem as we return to the earth in approximately 1970, but was transmitting our forces and our mental telepathy since. We have never left. Physically, we had this and we have left physically, but we left our children here as we travel amongst the galaxies. And now we return back physically with our children grown. And we're teaching and we're using our powers, which call the power of the mind force, the mind power. We're using our telepathy. We are coming together with the elements, those who protect the earth. The earth is Gia. Gia is what we call, Gia is the earth, and Gigi or Gigi is the sky. So the earth and the sky is written symbolically in many stories. But the earth is a living organism. The earth lives, and we have protected the earth, and the earth and the elements that protect the earth protects us like storms. The wind is a part of the protective force of the earth and is giving to us because the earth has given us the protection of the matter or the body, the dense particle that we are in. We are not the body. We are inside the body. So the teachings of the Quran, which is El's Quran, which is the source, you see, of the holy which is considered to be pure. The pure is considered to be the Quran. The Quran is Qur, which means say, and an is anu. And if you would know about the different timelines of this creation, anu is considered to be the host of this particular planet. And then you have and, which means twice. So to say it twice, as they split the teachings of Abe, which is father, Ra, which is the light, and Ham, you see, Ham, which means the darkness, you see. So the father of light that came from the darkness, or what they call symbolically now Abraham, which is the stories that they tell in what they call the Bible, right, which are biblical terminologies, right? What happened was that when those who considered themselves Muslims, or those who are peace after 35 to 50 years of teachings, right, to burn out their bad habits and to establish a character. This character is preceded by the 12 characters of or attributes of Allah that one take and has at birth. But at the same time, is those who evolved out of the animalistic nature had to proceed to what they call mastery or self-mastery. And that's dealing with discipline. This is where you get the disciples and their teachings, the 12 disciples from the 12 zodiacs, and the 12 disciples going through their discipline with who they call the Son of Man. The Son of Man was just a title as the sun, the energy of man, or the light of man. Light was the knowledge. This knowledge was not the bright light, but this knowledge was what they call the green light. You had the green light. You had one light split in half. One side was amber, or what they call the red light. The other light was the green light. The green light was considered to be the light of the energy that was creative. The red light was the constructive light. But the constructive light could also be used to burn and destroy to build. So all this particular knowledge, we say thank you very much as we continue. And basically what many people have to do now is get back on the end of the line. Well, as I say, get your ass on the end of the line. Get your questions at the end of the line. First of all, the word question is really a mispronunciation. It's one of those dual trick words where they say, I have a quest, and then they shun it. But they should have said, I have a quest, and I'll show it. Quest show. Quest shown. Not quest shun. All these trickeries and etymologies of words that was put down, and being that the mentality of the slave was very gullible, you see, and they did not have the supreme knowledge that would take them and elevate their thinking, their actions, and their doing. They didn't have the environment that would allow them to do the things that they need to do. They were oppressed and they were afraid. They were scared. So when someone came up with a program that made kind of sense to them, they kind of took to it. When they had Elijah Muhammad, they took to it. When they had Marcus Garvey, they took to it. When I say they, we talk about those who proceeded before us. Those energy cannot be destroyed. So as we come back and we recycle, we do not do the same things that we used to do before. You do not do the same things that you used to be before. You start to elevate and do the things that you need to do. So now, if it tells you to read the Quran, and the Quran is also a poison book that was tainted, right, by those who wanted to have power over you, you must go get the right Quran. You see? And those that shunned and did not help is a sad thing. It talks about, and as I got it, I opened it, and you can read it for yourself. It says, first of all, this Quran, we start off, this Quran was translated by Dr. Malachi York for the HTM, as we'll go into that aspect, that period of time, what and how. It said, the son of the Elijah Muhammad has to talk bad about his father in order for these Arabs to accept him. Siraj Wahaj has to talk bad about any other Muslim leaders who doesn't agree with Saudi Arabia concepts on racism. Islam asks you to forget the middle passage. Their Islam asks you to forget about the middle passage, which is the transportation of slaves from Africa to America. It asks you to forget all of the lies that were lost before, during, and after slavery. It asks you to forget about the injustice and the travesties that our ancestors endured. People like Harriet Tubman, who risked her life for freedom. It asks you to forget the genocides such as AIDS and the Tuskegee experiment, where Nubians were injected with syphilis for over a period of 40 years. It asks you to forget the subliminal seductions and inferior complexes that have put into the minds of Nubians worldwide. It asks you to forget the hangings and the castrations. It asks you to forget the KKK or Ku Klux Klan, the lynchings, and the way Nubians were treated worldwide. Just reflect back for a while to the Rodney King beatings back in 1993. It asks you to pretend that there is no racism in Islam. Those who call themselves Arabs come over to America saying, no more racism. But it's easy for them to say that because they never had to endure racism. But ask a Palestinian Muslim about Jews. He hates them. And the Iranians asked about the Kuwaitians. He hates them. And the Afghanistans about Russians and the Bosnia and the Croatians, etc. They all hate other races for what they did to them. But us, Nubians, are being told that it's wrong to hate the Caucasian for what he did and is still doing to us. If any Nubian who tells us to forget all of the sufferings and pain and all of the history, he is lying. It asks you to ignore reality. It asks you to ignore scientific facts. It creates its own geographic in a nutshell. It asks you to have a blind faith, and simply the blind leading the blind. So in order to get our people out of this spell binding religion called Islam, we couldn't merely study it and talk about it. We had to get inside of it, live in Islam, and become a part of it. Make it one of our schools on the way to Nuwabu. And then wake up our people to their true past and bring it to the present as we go back way before 1400 years ago. And you cannot convince me that acknowledging my ancestors, be they Anu, Enlil, Tammuz, Horus, Isis, and Re, is idol worship. While you remember dead individuals such as the Caliphs, the companions, and the writers of your hadith, and even have pictures thrown in your books and statues of them in Islamic countries. I say we simply give you back all your isms, and I will spread the rest of my days waking up the children of Nuwabians and getting them away from ignorance disguised by every religion, regardless of what kind of Muslim you call yourself. They don't even agree on one path they say they lead you to. Even in the Quran of today, Muslims can't agree on the correct translation. Each sect claims that theirs is the most accurate. They can't even agree on how to spell Muhammad's name in English. From sect to sect, you will find Muhammad, Muhammad, Mohammed, Mohammed, Muhammad, Mohemet, Muhammad, Muhammed, Muhammad, Mohammed, or Muhammad, Mohammed. Now let's take a look at the definition of the name Muhammad, according to the Muslim's name by Fatima Susan El-Jalan in 1977 AD. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, means praised. Now, according to the Book of Muslims' name, Aziza Ahmed in 1986, the Prophet Muhammad name means praiseworthy or commendable. In the Dictionary of Islam by Thomas Patrick Hughes, the Prophet Muhammad means the praised one. According to these various books, the Prophet Muhammad is defined as praise. The Prophet Muhammad's name at birth was Ahmed, means praiseworthy, when it should be one who praises, because according to Muslims, only Allah is worthy of praise, which is his 56th attribute, El-Hamidu, meaning the all praiseworthy. Thus, Muhammad's name should be Abdul Hamid, servant of the praiseworthy. This is how you know Muslims are Prophet Muhammad's worshippers. And when they place the Prophet Muhammad's name next to Allah in the kalimat, they are actually saying some praise is due to Allah and some praises is due to Muhammad. Yes, this is called shirk, idolatry, binding partners, something that Muslims do every time they call the Adhan and recite the kalimat according to Quran, 4th Surah, 48 ayat. It's called shirk, and it's a sin that is not to be forgiven. God forgiveth not the partners should be set up with him, but he forgiveth anything else to whom he pleases. To set up a partner with God is to devise a sin most hideous indeed. So as you can see, they have taken it a step further by ascribing the attributes of Allah to Muhammad. When the statement was made that no one can produce a book like the Holy Quran, it was talking about the original Quran that the Prophet Muhammad received. Had Muslims not made additions, alterations such as nuktas and vowels, Christians would not have been able to produce another like it. The Quran would not have been able to be duplicated. So Muslims can't hold up to the Quran of today and say that there is no doubt in it. As I have said before, this argument can only be understood by 1% of the entire Muslim world, because only 10% of the whole Muslim world speaks Arabic. What is really said is 1% of the 10% understand classical Arabic enough to read the Holy Quran properly. Most Arabs that speak Arabic speak a bad dialect. Even the education, one has not been fortunate enough to understand the Arabic of the Quran. They made the grammar so complicated that none, even they, understand it in their modern day Quran. Therefore, people like Ahmed Diat, who doesn't speak Arabic, will truly never know that the challenge has been met by Christians. The problem with Muslims is that they make the mistake of thinking that Muhammad and the Quran was sent to the whole world. They even have quotes they think is backing it, like the Holy Quran 7:158, Holy Quran 21:107, and Holy Quran 25:1. And as usual, Muslims have mistranslated and misused the quotes in the Quran. It says, "Say, O men, I am sent unto you all as the apostle of Allah, to whom belongeth the dominion of the heavens and earth. There is no creator but he. It is he that giveth both life and death. So believe in Allah and his apostle, the unlettered prophet who believed in Allah and his words. Follow him that so you may be guided." So it's speaking about the Quran that you have in your hand. And this Quran or Quran is only going to lead you to destruction. So as we continue this, you will see.